let's go to page 14. First, let's go over some properties of equality. So first one is a reflexive property. Reflexive property means any number will equal to itself. So you got A equal to A. So again, it's common sense. The next one is a symmetric property. Symmetric property says that if A equal to B, then B equal to A. So in other words, when you have equation, you can flip it over. Okay. The next property is a transitive property. Transitive property says if A equal to B and B equal to C, then A equal to C. So in a way, it's like a chain link. Okay, so that's like this is linked to that, so you can kind of just link them all together. See the B and the B, C and the C, right? Okay, so again, transitive property, think of it as like the chain link. So A equal to B and B equal to C, so that A will equal to C. The next one is an addition property. Addition property, it says that you can add the same thing to both sides. So notice you got A equal to B, right? So then if you add C to both sides, they will still equal. So now you can add C to both sides, okay? And same thing with multiplication property. If something is equal, then you can multiply something to both sides. So in this case, A equal to B, so you multiply by C on both sides, okay? Okay, so let's go over example 1. Okay, example 1 says, name the property of the equality illustrated in each statement. Okay, so A, okay, it says, if x plus 4 equal to 3, then 2 times x plus 4 equal to 6. So you cannot try to figure out what happens from here to here. Well, from here to here is multiplied by 2, so from here to here, it multiplied by 2, right? So again, this multiplied by 2, that's how you get there. So in this case, the reason from here to here, the reason for that would be so what's being done is the multiplication property. Okay. So again, this is a multiplication property. So now when you have equation, you can multiply by a number. So this times that will give you that, this times that will give you that. Okay, so that's why it's being done. So that's a reason. And example 1b. Okay, if z equal to a plus 2, and I'm going to write down here, and a plus 2 equal to 3, then z equal to 3. Okay. So you got these two statements, and so to get from here to here, what is being done is the transitive property, because z equal to that, right? So again, notice the link, and so z equal to that, and this equal to that, so you just link this to that. So this would be a transitive property. Okay. Okay, and 1c is if x equal to y plus z, then y plus z equal to x. So notice you got x equal to this, and then this is got flip it over. So this is a symmetric property. Okay, let's go to page 15. Again, there are more properties over here. So it starts out as for all the numbers a, b, and c. So a, b, and c are real numbers, and here's examples. Okay. So over here, the closure property says that if a, b, and c are real numbers, then when you add, it's going to still a real number. If you multiply, you're going to remain real number. So again, closure property means it's not going to go outside of the system. It's going to stay inside. So again, real number plus real number is going to equal to real number. Real number times real number is going to remain in a real number. So it stays within that category. Okay, so that's called a closure property. Okay, the next one is a commutative property. Commutative property, it says that you can switch the order. So notice A plus B will equal to B plus A. And over here, they give you some example of that. Okay, so again, commutative property means you switch the order, okay, of the terms. Next one is associative property. Associative property, notice that all the variables do not move the position, but their parentheses moved. Okay, see over here, this one, the letter gets switched. Over here, all the letters stay in the same position, but the parentheses moved. So in other words, instead of adding these two numbers first, you can add the last two numbers first. And they kind of give you an example of that. Same thing with multiplication. Instead of multiply A and B first, then you can multiply B and C first instead. And they're going to be still equal. Now notice that commutative property and associative property is only for addition and multiplication only. Okay? So subtraction and divisions are not commutative and it's not associative. Okay, next one is identity property. Identity, think about the word identical. Identical means same. So identity property is some that you have a number or variable and you do something to it, it's going to stay the same. Okay? So example of that for addition, the identity property is when you add 0. Okay? So again, if you start with A and you add 0, it's going to stay the same. Okay? So it stays identical. So again, that's called identity property. For multiplication, when you start with a number, if you multiply by 1, it's going to stay the same. Right? You start at A, multiply by 1, it's going to stay the A. Okay? So again, stay the same. So that again, identical. Right? So that's why it's identity property. Okay. Now the inverse property is kind of the reverse of the identity. Okay? It's what you're going to end up getting that. So for example, if you start with an A and you add the opposite, okay, you're going to end up with 0. Okay, again, so 0 is the identity for the addition. And the property of reciprocal. Okay, so again for the addition for addition you add the opposite. For the multiplication you have to multiply the reciprocal. So if you start with a number A, you multiply by reciprocal. Reciprocal means you flip upside down. Okay, so when you multiply by reciprocal, you're going to end up with 1. Okay, and here again, here's some example of that. Okay, and again, notice for addition, you end up with 0. Over here, you end up with 1. Okay, so those are inverse properties. Okay, so they're kind of closely related. Okay, this one, when you add 0, you stay the same. When you multiply by 1, you stay the same. Over here is you try to get to the 0 or try to get to the 1. And the last one is a distributive property. This one you use a lot. So like this one, you multiply A times parentheses B plus C. So you can distribute, so you have to use A times B, you get AB, and A times C, you get AC. Okay. So this is just kind of quick review on all the properties. Okay, so let's go over some examples. Okay, let's go to example 2. Example 2a, you want to simplify 7 plus 11 plus 13 plus 19. Okay, so you can use many different properties if you want to. Okay, I'm going to just follow what's in the book. You don't have to. Okay, so what I did is since additions are associative and also commutative, so you can add any order you want, and you can switch any order you want. Okay, so I kind of do it. I like to do it the other way first. First, I'm going to use commutative property. I'm going to switch these two. Okay, I'm going to switch the two, and then I'm going to use associative property, and that was a lot easier. And then after I can add. Okay, so I can 20 plus 30. And this will equal to 50. Okay, so this is a lot easier to add. Okay, So you can, because it's addition, you're allowed to switch the number. That's called a commutative, right? Once you do the commutative, then you can apply associative. You can add these two together. You can add these two together. Then after that, you can just apply that. Okay. Okay. Then for 2b, yeah, 26 plus 8y plus 14. Now, after you do this for a while, you can do it mentally. You don't even have to show the steps. Okay, but right now, I'm just going to kind of review your basics. Okay, okay, so I'm going to do the commutative property. I'm going to switch the two. Okay, then I'm going to do associative property. Okay, so again, commutative property, I'm switch these two. Then associative property, I'm going to add these two together first, and I'm going to apply the addition property. So you get 40 plus 8y, and that's it. Okay. So a lot of time you do a lot of this property without actually think about it, because you've been doing it so much it becomes like second nature. But here are all the reasons behind that. Okay. Okay. Example 3. You have 16 times 4xy squared times 5z cubed. Okay, so first, I'm going to do the commutative property. I'm going to move all the things around, so I'm going to get all the numbers together. Okay, I'm moving things around, and I'm going to have the x, and I'm going to have y squared, and going to get z cubed. Okay, so again, I'm just applying the commutative property, just move things around. Okay, then next, I'm going to apply the multiplication property. Well, actually, I'm going to apply associative property first. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this first because those are easier to multiply. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply all this together. I get x y squared z cubed. Okay, then after I'm going to multiply again using the multiplication property. So it'd be 320 xy squared z cubed. Okay. And now when you're actually doing the problem, if they don't ask you for the reason, you can just go from here straight to here. Right? You can just go, 16 times 5 give you 80 times 4 give you 330, 320, right? And just get your, so you can skip all these steps, okay? But I'm just going through all the steps to explain to you what are the reasoning behind behind all the steps, okay? Okay, let's go to example 4. Okay, so it says, example 4, name the property used in each step in simplifying of 1/3 times 1 plus 3t. Okay, all the steps. Okay, so from here, first I'm going to distribute. Okay, so I'm going to get 1/3 times 1 plus 1/3 times 3t. Okay, so basically I'm just doing this. So this is the distributive property. Okay, so from here to here, I apply the distributive property. And so that's a step 1. Okay, step 2, they have this over here. So what they did is they used associative property. Okay, so again, instead of multiply 3 times t first, they're going to multiply 1/3 and 3 first. Okay, and they can notice nothing get moved, right? So commutative, think about commuting. When you're commuting, you're moving from one place to the other. So that's kind of the way to memorize it, because a lot of students get confused between commutative and associative. Okay. Okay, so step 2 is associative property, and the step 3, they actually multiply also. It becomes 1 times t. Okay. Now this one would be multiplication property. or property of reciprocal, so either way, or substitution. So again, from here to here, this step, there are different reasons you can give. Okay, you can use the property of reciprocal, or you can use the multiplication property, or you can use the property of reciprocal. Okay, so for me, I'm just going to use the multiplication property. Okay, so you can from this step to this step, there are 3 different reasons you can use. Okay, 3 different reasons you can use. Either the substitution, or the multiplication property, or the property of reciprocal. Okay, so one of the 3 you can use. Okay, number 4, then you have 1/3 plus t. Okay, so this would be identity, because anything times 1 will equal to itself, right? So 1/3 times 1 will still 1/3. T times 1 will still give you t. So this is the identity property. Now, if you want to say off the multiplication, that's fine too. You don't want to get to that detail if you don't want to. And then after that, you can move all these things down. So therefore, this means therefore, 1/3 times 1 plus 3t equal to 1/3 plus t. And this would be the transitive property. And reason for that, because this is equal to this, and this equal to that, and this equal to that, this equal to that, and therefore this equal to that. So I can think about chain link, right? This is linked to this is linked to that, this is linked to that, this is linked to that. So that means this is going to link to this, okay? So again, that's a transitive property. And that's it for example 4.